Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows, our Friday night edition. It's good to be back in our normal time slot, and you guys are joining us too. Good to see so many already in the chat, loads of our chasers, and of course, co-host Mr. Dean Jones. Dean, how are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks, mate. I'm struggling to get my tweet out right now to tell people to join us, but I've had to do a retweet for now. But yeah, good, all good. Today I went to see the Super Mario movie for the second time of the Easter holidays. Luckily, as kids' films go, it's not actually really a kids' film. Like if you like Nintendo, if you like Mario, you're absolutely fine with it because there's loads of little gems in there that look like, relate to all the different series of Mario and all the different years. So I quite enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like it. Like, I still love Mario Kart. Like, my little boy's got a Nintendo Switch and only got Mario Kart. I was like, obviously, once he's in bed, like, I'm playing that. So that was my day. Yeah, it's been good. How about you, mate?
Did it beat London Zoo?
It beat London Zoo.
Beat London Zoo, did it? Yeah.
Yes, that's my week, isn't it? London Zoo versus, it's just an easier, you just
easy
sit
win
there with some snacks. It's quite easy. And go on your phone in the boring parts.
Yeah, you got more energy in the evening for the cinema day. I took my mum for afternoon tea, which was really nice. It was
Very nice.
It was a late 60th birthday present, and it was pretty cool. It was on an old train, and it was proper, like, I don't even know that I should have looked this up. I don't know, 40s, 1930s, 1940s style train. And classic afternoon tea. The train didn't move, but yeah, super cool.
Ah, it's one of those things. Yeah, they're cool. Yeah.
Put a snap on my Instagram for anyone that's bothered. You can follow both Dean and I on Instagram on these handles, I think. My Insta handle might actually be slightly different.
Yeah, I think my Insta is actually Dean Jones Football. I wanted Dean Jones Football on my Twitter. I get loads of stick for the fact it says soccer.
Yeah.
But I had to make an instant decision to keep the blue tick at the time when I was for Bleacher Report going into, like, not being at Bleacher Report. To keep the blue tick is not easy, to be honest. And they were like, well, you need a new handle. And I was like, Dean Jones Football. They were like, that's taken. I was like, oh, Dean Jones Soccer. And they were like, yeah, we've got that. I was like, okay. After I was like,
Well, you've got a lot of Americans.
Well, I've got a lot of Americans. So that's where I went. But like, honestly, the amounts he said, like, when I do a transfer story, they'll be like, according to Dean Jones Soccer.
Oh, and then I'll ridicule you for it.
Oh, he doesn't even know what the game's called. Like, can't trust this. Like, tier 5.
I love that. Mate, guys, we're going to go into FPL chat very, very shortly. But Dean, how's the blue tick thing going? Because you're a genuine blue ticker, right? Dean's
good question.
Football insider. A lot of blue tickers have been losing their blue ticks. I'm the mug that just bought a blue tick.
Oh, yeah.
And I know I'm going to get a terrible rep for that, but I'll explain my reasons later. But yeah, Dean, have you still got yours?
It's still there. So we're halfway through the month now, and it's still there. Presume it's going to disappear at some point.
I've applied for one for over a year, and I can't get one. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to try this Twitter blue thing and see if it improves my Twitter experience. So I did it for a few weeks or a month. Then I did a month without it. And then I took the decision. My actual timeline was a much better place with Twitter Blue. It did make a difference to kind of.
Yeah. I mean, if you're consistent on Twitter,
so much time on there.
Yeah, if you're consistent on there, and it's like important to building something, and it is good. I obviously am not a big fan of Twitter. People keep trying to force me back on there, and I dip my toe in and out, but I need to go back into it properly. But I just don't like the place. It's just not got nice people in there in my world. So. Yeah, I prefer Insta, even Facebook. I prefer posting on there, to be honest. Go and follow me on Facebook, people. That's where I actually post the most now. It started about a month ago. Yeah, a month ago. I've got a little thing on there. I think I've got about 13,000 followers, something like that. And yeah, I quite enjoy Facebook. It's a really nice crowd. So yeah, go and follow me on Facebook. I'll talk to you on there.
Good to see so many in the chat. Gianni sold out, says Nuclear. Congratulations, Nuclear Atoms, with his 2-0 win for Real Madrid. CH says Gianni banished to the corner. Christine, no. I spend so much time on Twitter. I'm like, it's worth the £6 a month to me, but I get it wouldn't be for many. What's funny is I got some work from like someone, can you do some promoted posts for us, when they saw I had a blue tick. And I was like, okay, I'm actually going to get more work from it as well, because they don't check if it's Twitter blue, if it's genuine. They see my profile picture in a studio or whatever and go, oh, he's a blue ticker, that's good. It's like, yeah, I paid for it, mate. But if you want to pay me to promote your brand, I'll happily do it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's someone using the pool table, Janny, sent to the kitchen. I'm actually at my dad's house. If my sound is a little bit rubbish tonight, it's because I'm on my headphones. So, yeah, I'm at my dad's. And my new laptop doesn't have a USB port. So I've got my mic with me, but I can't bloody plug it in.
What? Oh, is it one of the new ones with the little gap?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get one of these special adapters that I've got, and you plug everything into that adapter. So that
and
goes
then you
into
put
the
USB into that. Okay.
and then your USB plugs into that. It's initially annoying. Obviously, once you've got this thing, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't know why they've done that, just to be awkward, I think.
Yeah, thanks for that, Apple. So you spend more money with them. Okay, so look, we're going to be showing our teams. We're going to be going against the obvious. Got some picks for you tonight. First up, though, I think we probably should go straight into Fresh off the Press team. Should we?
Yeah.
Good stuff. We can go straight in without the sting.
Just start.
That works.
Yeah, just start. That was a little. We had that test the other day, and it did go, didn't it? Done us. Absolutely done us. Here we go. Amateur green arrows over here. Never mind us. Never mind us, people. I thought I'd played that coolly. Didn't at all. Very, very amateur moment from me there. Right. Anyway, some team news. Let's get stuck into this. Man United, they haven't got a team anymore. They all fell away last night when they played Sevilla. Varane and Martinez gone from this Man United lineup suddenly, which leaves Maguire and Lindelof as the central pairing at the back. Luke Shaw could be back. There's talk that he's back in the frame here. McTominay too. Yep. But still, that's not a combination that is going to necessarily fill people with joy if they want to have Luke Shaw in their team, because one of the main reasons you would have him is for the clean sheet. Rashford, obviously out, a groin injury. If you want to look for some hope for Man United, it is there. Martial played really well. He's looked good, actually, since he came back in. Him and Sabitzer linked up brilliantly.
Yeah,
Sabitzer, great. Again, another player that might be on your radar suddenly. And another reason to be hopeful is Forest, I think, have more players injured than anyone else. I think it was on Ben Dinnery today. He said that Forest have more injuries than anybody else. 11, he said.
They've got more players than everyone else as well.
They also have a 47-man squad, yeah.
Wait, the Martial thing was interesting. I didn't watch the game, but he got 62 minutes. Is he someone that you think could get a start this weekend then, off the fact he started Thursday night and only got an hour?
Yeah, he played really well, mate. He played really well. I'd actually turned it off by the time it all fell apart for them. But the first half I watched quite closely, and Martial was he was sharp. He's a very different option to Weghorst. So it really depends what they want in the positions for this. But obviously, if Rashford's not there either at the moment, you've got an option on the left and you've got the option through the centre. So it does definitely open up a possibility that Martial does start this game. I think, the fact that Forest do have so many problems means United can probably just about be trusted to get something from this game. And in terms of that, I mean goals really, rather than a win. But yeah, it's an interesting one from a Man United point of view. So let us know in the comments if you plan on having any United assets, if you trust anyone anymore. Even if you've got Fernandes, you're probably losing faith. Really, his positioning and stuff is totally different at the moment. It's a bit all over the place as to where he's going to actually play. Casemiro was back though. That obviously made United look a lot better. Harry says Martial was incredible last night and should start for Forest away. Michael says, I think from the Ten Hag comments, they will be very careful about Martial. So two contrasting opinions.
6.3. So cheap. If Martial is getting 60 minutes at 6.3 for someone that owns Kai Havertz and probably wants a replacement, I had no idea he was 6.3. But
yeah, I mean, it's the old conundrum.
Willie won't he every week, isn't it?
He's so unreliable, isn't he? He's so unreliable. Not in terms of playing well when he is playing, in terms of actually getting him on the pitch. That's the problem. Right, let's move on. Chelsea are playing against Brighton. Koulibaly struggled with his hamstring, didn't he? Came out of that game. Unfortunately for you, Cucurella came on.
He is never a Chelsea player. I don't understand how he was linked with City, Chelsea, and a 60 million man. What? He's okay. Championship's harsh, but he's a mid-table at best.
Well, he was good at Brighton, and he was good.
Yeah, that was his level when Brighton.
Sometimes
were
you don't know your level until you leave it. You're probably right. Mason Mount likely to start this one. I but a strong chance that Mason Mount starts here. So if you're looking for a Chelsea revival of some sort starting, it's probably going to come through Mason Mount. So if you want to take a gamble, maybe go there. Will Reece James play? I don't think so. I spoke to someone yesterday briefly about this. And he said he was surprised, actually, with the minutes he's even been getting, even before that Real Madrid game. From what he was saying, I would guess he'll probably won't play in this one. I mean, that's just me reading into his comments a bit, but I didn't want to ask directly if he was going to play. But yeah, I got the impression he probably won't. I mean, bad news for you. That might mean Loftus-Cheek at right wing back. But Chelsea likely to rotate heavily, aren't they? I mean, they've got a game that they have to win against Real Madrid coming up. And Lampard's got to balance this squad out and try and do that. I don't think he's got it in his locker to beat Real Madrid. I mean, I thought his setup looked good from the start. I liked what he was planning.
Yeah.
Pulling it off just didn't work out. Beyond the first 15 minutes, I didn't think much of the lineup at all. I think Chelsea probably lose this game, if I'm honest. They haven't scored for 4 games. No, Chelsea have got Southampton and Forest to come this season. Maybe they win those ones, but beyond that, I'd be surprised if Lampard picks up any wins between now and the end of the season. Just over to Brighton. Levi Colwell, ineligible. Obviously, this is his parent club, so he's not playing. And Tariq Lamptey, I would have liked to see him play this one. He's not fit in time. He's got knee problems, so we won't be seeing him. Let's quickly just blitz the City game. They obviously play against Leicester. KDB available. There's some concerns that he might have picked up a knock in the last game. Didn't. Tactical. KDB available. A few people in my mini league had actually captained KDB last week, which I thought was a punt. They'd gone for that instead of bringing in Haaland, and they got away with that. No Foden. Haaland will start, won't he? The Bayern game tie's done pretty much. So I think that means that if that game had been 0-0 or something, and you were going into a second leg, I think they'd just be more cautious of Haaland. Of course, Alvarez is in good form, so there's no qualms about chopping and changing. But I think Haaland we can trust to start. And just for Leicester, Harvey Barnes out. That's a blow for some FPL managers for sure. Yeah. James Maddison, look, not had a good time with things recently, but be very hungry to do well in a game like this. Obviously, he's trying to impress suitors at this point for next season and a summer transfer. So playing well against Man City would do him wonders, as well as help his team avoid relegation. So keep an eye on Madders having a good one.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting without Barnes if he goes to a front 2 and then Maddison in a 10. Without Barnes' width, and a front 2 is what Leicester fans have been wanting. Like you could see Iheanacho and Daka, for example, in a 2, and that could be quite exciting. But that's brave to go with 2 forwards against Man City. In terms of Chelsea starters, some questions in the chat around like João Felix and Chilwell. I think Chilwell starts because he's suspended for Real Madrid, so he starts now. I don't think he would have.
Yeah,
João Felix, I think we'll probably see some rotation. Like I think that front 3 could very easily be like Havertz, Pulisic, and Mudryk. Like Lampard has said it's going to, or Mount probably. Mount definitely starts. You're right, Dean. So yeah, expect mass rotation. Even the goalkeeper slot though is reportedly Lampard's looking to possibly change it this weekend. So he could see Mendy coming in, but we'll speak more about Kepa later, I guess. But yeah, I'm with you. Like those Chelsea wins do look slim, and Brighton are favourites despite being at the Bridge. Brighton
they're favourites,
aren't they?
I thought you meant they were the official favourites.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were. I'm going to check now.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if bookies were brave enough to do that because
bloody well should be.
I definitely think they are. Yeah, I mean, I have this down as like I was going to say 2-1 Brighton win, but I don't know if Chelsea can score goals anymore, so I don't even know where the one's coming from.
Yeah, like do Chelsea even score? The good thing is for Chelsea is Brighton, whilst they're amazing going forward, they do let you have a go. They do concede chances.
So. And there might be players in this Chelsea lineup that have a point to prove and they try to grasp at a chance. Look, there's a couple of weird things like Madueke and Nani Madueke. Is that how you pronounce his name? I never get that right. And this one's no easier, is it? Kenny Chumweke, whatever. I can't. Anyway, those two must be chomping at the bit for a start at the moment. Like, where are their minutes coming from? Like, surely they both get a chance here. And if they do, those two are great. Like, if you were really, really brave this week, you could go that path. I don't think anyone will. But I think if either of those two was to get the chance, they'd be as likely as anyone to come up with the goods for Chelsea. So, yeah, an interesting game, this one.
Mate, Paddy Power have it as put £1 on Chelsea, win £2.60. Put £1 on Brighton, win £2.63. It's that close.
Oh,
So they're expecting a draw,
toss a coin.
but it's pretty much a coin toss, on that one. But for me, I think Brighton go into it as favourites. So yeah, if you own Brighton midfielders, try not to bench them. Try not to have Brighton midfielders on your bench because they're a seriously good attacking team.
Yeah, definitely that. Yeah, JP wants us to start score predictions in here. Don't know if we've got time for that generally, mate, but I'm happy to say, yeah, I think it's Brighton to win 2-1 or 2-0 here. So we'll go with that for now, and I'll consider next week if I can throw in a couple more score predictions for you. I will. I do like score predictions, I have to say. I don't mind a £1 bet here and there. That is probably my limit, though. Yeah, I think that's about it, really, mate.
Good stuff. We'll answer some questions, guys. Good to see so many in the chat, whacking stuff in there. So Harry asked about Martinez or Steele this week. I do fancy Chelsea to score at home to Brighton, but Newcastle attack's been so good, so I'd probably back Steele just. But yeah, good question. Let's take a couple more. No, feel free to whack something on screen if with your questions.
Alba up top. I mean, you never know. I mean, the fact he's even figuring has baffled me because I don't see the point of it. But obviously in the last game, he really went with experience against Real Madrid, and he wanted to have Thiago and Kante and Raheem Sterling in there as like the spine of the team and players that have been in those stages before. But Aubameyang, obviously he's a player with plenty of experience, and if he brings in against Brighton, wouldn't totally surprise me. João Felix, interesting to see what Lampard's made of him so far. João Felix is great, but yeah, with every game that passes, I become less and less more convinced that he actually does end up signing. Me
too.
I think it's a tough one now to go and spend 100 million on João Felix if he can't hit the back of the net.
Yeah, that's the problem. We've not seen the conversion we perhaps thought we were going to off the back of those first few games where he was amazing. Matty asked about Chilwell for Estupinan. Yeah, in terms of to start, I'd start Chilwell over Estupinan. Chilwell offers more goal threat than pretty much any other defender in the game at the moment in terms of open play goal threat. Time for Trent, says Nuclear. Yeah, it's impressive. Have you noticed, Dean? Like he started last game, I think he played more of a midfield sort of inverted role, but still going down the right for assists, and I think he got a couple.
Yeah.
I do think Trent will get more attacking returns than most, but I still don't fancy Liverpool for too many clean sheets. But yeah, Trent's still a luxury. It's still a lot of money. I'd still go Man City defender over Trent, knowing you can save money on that move. What do you reckon on Luke Shaw, Dean? We haven't heard a huge amount in terms of concrete info, have we?
No, I mean, he's in contention for this game. I think the one thing to consider is that because United aren't going to have... I was speaking to someone earlier about this, and they were like, well, if you consider it's going to be Maguire and Lindelof as the first choice now centre-backs, it's also going to be the case for the Sevilla game in the second leg, which is obviously a big game. But don't forget, Luke Shaw's been playing centre-back this season.
Yeah.
And for a game like that, they might need Luke Shaw. Malacia, you can generally trust as a left-back now, mostly.
More than Maguire, maybe.
Yeah. So that's the consideration now. Do you actually think, hang on, let's play Luke Shaw at centre-back?
Yeah.
Good point. So that's another factor in here. It's not just whether if he's fit, he plays. It's like, hang on, we've got a huge European game coming out away from home. Do we want Luke Shaw in there? So yeah, interesting one, that Harry.
And with that, guys, when Luke Shaw did play centre back, he was so good that he did really well in the bonus point system. He actually did better in the bonus point system from his centre back games than what he does at left back. Yeah. So whilst you might lose a bit of attacking threat in terms of goals and assist threat, you still get all the assist threat from set pieces, which is mainly where Luke Shaw builds them up anyway. Not a huge amount come from open play with him, but you get increased bonus. So he's just as good, if not slightly better, an FPL option from the very small sample size we saw as a centre-back. So yeah, watch this space. FPL Wolves, Gianni, was it a bad decision to get rid of Matoma for Elise? I didn't realise that everyone was saying not to bench or get rid of Brighton mids. Look, you've done it now, mate, so go with it. I think Elise is a good option. But yeah, getting rid of Matoma is a bold move. Just know Brighton have a tough fixture or two in the next couple of weeks, but then they've got 2 double game weeks still to come. I think it's 2. God, it could even be 3. I think
They've got
2.
2 more.
2 or 3. 2 more doubles.
2 more doubles. Yeah, we just had one. Yeah.
You definitely are going to want 3 Brighton by game week 34. Just got to buy him back. You're good.
Yeah, you will have to get him back, unfortunately, mate. Chasing mini leagues, could Havertz, Alvarez be a good punt?
Still just don't know if Alvarez is going to start, do we?
I guess there's kind of people's point might be it doesn't necessarily matter because when he comes on, it's for Haaland. He's on pens and he's a predator. And he hits them from long range too, doesn't he? Alvarez is a really good player.
30
and
minutes
to be honest,
of him is useful still, isn't it?
30 minutes of him is probably better than 90 of Havertz. So it's not a bad shout. It's not a bad shout.
Fair. Taufik says, would Grealish start to be a risk? Should Foden be fit? No, you're good. You're good with Jack. Foden, before he got injured, was actually playing on the right more than the left. Grealish is nailed in this Pep team at the moment. As long as he's fit and he doesn't need a rest, and look, he'll miss 1 game because he needs a rest in the next month. But you're fine with Grealish, even when Foden's back.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Dean, do you think James could be rotated? I think there's a high chance, yeah. Got to remember, Reece James's injury record recently, the minutes that would have been monitored on him. I think he's probably in the red zone at the moment. So I think there's a good chance that Reece James doesn't start.
It's great to see so many in the chat. 194 of you are watching. That's awesome.
Nice.
If you fancy hitting that like button, just support the channel by giving us a thumbs up. And also, if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button because we'd love you to continue on this journey with us. We've not been picking up the subscribers of late, mate, have we?
No, when we first came on, we used to pick up a lot more per show, didn't we? I mean, I guess it makes sense because you start to level out a bit. But everyone, get your mates involved. Obviously, you're all in mini leagues. I know that you don't want your friends to get the same edge as you're getting by watching me and G, but maybe let your other mates know outside of that there's a good channel here if they fancy getting involved. Mainly, we just all have a good chat and we've all become mates here. So press the subscribe button. And then if you could all bring in 1 person each, that would actually really, really help us grow as a channel and make sure we stick around.
Yeah,
not
good
going
stuff.
Anywhere.
Justin number 7.
That's blackmail, wasn't it? We're going to leave if you don't press subscribe.
Justin number 7. We'll answer your question and then we'll show our teams. What do you think about John Stones? Because I've been banging the drum. I actually did a piece about Man City on my own channel on Wednesday about how the City defence has been massively overlooked. I can't remember the stats I showed on the screen. It was something like from the last 4 game weeks, they've only kept 2 clean sheets, but they've only had against them an expected goals of 1.3. And they've only faced, I think, 3 shots on target, 4 shots on target and 3 shots from outside the box. That was it. In 4 game weeks, this team do not concede chances because they've always got the ball, right? And they're so clever. When they lose possession, they just foul you. That's a Pep thing, and it's worked for him for years. I like John Stones a lot. The fear with John Stones versus, say, Diaz and Ake is, can he play twice a week, every week between now and the end of the season? My answer is going to be, out of all those defenders, Akanji, Ake, Diaz and Stones, they're the 4 that are starting most weeks. They're definitely the preferred 4. It's Stones who suffers the most in terms of recovery time and injuries. Therefore, Pep might need to give him some more early subs or might need to bench him more than the others. It's a good option, but I'd play safer. Even cheaper is Ake, or if you can afford it, Diaz is completely nailed as a 90-minute man. I think Diaz will probably start every game between now and the end of the season in terms of Premier League, if he's fit.
Yeah, definitely. FPL Wolves says, I'm getting rid of Jimenez. Don't ask why I have him. Blimey.
It's like me with Havertz.
Yeah, it really is a Wolves version of that. Who should I get for him? I don't have enough for Kane or Haaland. I mean, possibly Alvarez, to be honest. I mean, Alvarez is 0.6 less than Jimenez. And, give you a clue. Jimenez's form is 0.7 and Alvarez is 7.5. So I think that looking at that, might as well go there.
Yeah, I think so. FPL Marshall says, Dean and Janny, have you ever thought of dropping the show as a podcast? It's interesting you say that, mate, because we've mentioned to our producer that we think it would be a great listen. Now, Dean's the podcast king. I don't really do pods, or not many, but Dean obviously has his own. And I feel like Chasing Green Arrows lends itself to a pod as much as a YouTube in terms of the conversation and stuff. So if you agree with that, and FPL Marshall, I'm guessing that's what you're thinking, let us know. If this was a pod, would you download and listen when you can't watch us on YouTube, just put the word yes or no. If you think it wouldn't work as a pod, put no. If you think it would, put yes in the chat. That'd be awesome to know, because maybe for next season we can.
Yeah, it's a hard one because obviously you only really want to stay on one media, because otherwise the listenership's split between the two, and you end up with like a few thousand here, a couple hundred there, whatever way it ends up going. You end up with an imbalance. And it's like with our podcast, we've considered doing it on YouTube too, but then you're like, well, would that take away from figures in the pod? So really, if you're going to go on as a pod, you've got to hope that you're going to get a listenership from outside of this community. Quite hard to get that unless you're going on to a stream that's already kind of there and it has a different listenership. If we were to, for example, like we could always test this on, like, drop it on ranks for 1 week and see how many people actually listen, a completely different listenership. I mean, I'm sure there's a few people on here that do listen to ranks, but we could try something like that just to see how many people tune in and what the feedback was like. But yeah, interesting. Like, well, a lot of people are saying yes, but the thing is, people, if you were not going to listen to it, you're not going to watch us on YouTube and then listen to the podcast. That's my main concern here.
My thing is, for those that are watching on the stream now, great, you're live and you love watching live. But on the shows you can't watch live because we do a different time or you're unavailable, do you go and watch us on catch up? And I'm guessing many of you do, but some of you perhaps go, oh, I can't watch you on catch up. If you're a pod, I would listen on catch up, because when I'm walking the dogs, I can do that. Yeah, I'm less likely to listen on YouTube when I'm walking the dogs. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? But yeah, if you're into your pods, guys, Ranks FC, Dean's pod is awesome. So yeah, search for Ranks FC. I think you'll really like it.
Yeah, I'll drop it in the comments so you can see it. But yeah, come listen to Ranks FC. We just we actually did a good episode this week where we looked at the top threes across Europe. So from the 5 top leagues, we picked the 3 that we thought would make the best front 3, and then we ranked them to see who we thought would come out on top across the leagues. It was actually a really good debate. But generally, yeah, we go on European football. We did a big Champions League episode yesterday. We did it straight after the games. We get stuck into loads of subjects that we don't cover on this podcast, actually. So yeah, if you fancy it, Ranks FC is the place to come and hear a bit more of me and Sam Ty and Jack Collins.
Good stuff. Right, I think it's about time we show our teams. Let's move on to our team reveals. We've both got, I think, well-set teams for game week 31. Is 31. So yeah, let's check them out. Oh, Dean, have you got 2 free transfers?
I've got 2 free transfers. Yeah, I have. But don't forget, I haven't got a free hit, so I've been keeping one up my sleeve. Okay. Yeah, so that's where I am with that. There's a few things, obviously, to weigh up here. Havertz, an obvious one. Rashford, an obvious one. Kepa, a potential. Probably doesn't matter too much this week, but not sure about that going forward. Yeah, so really, like, considering, like last week, I was considering getting Grealish in. Didn't go for it. Again, not a bad shout this week to bring him in. I guess the thing that puts me off is that he's got a blank the week after. So really, any transfers that I make need to be people that aren't missing games at this point. That's going to be my main thing. So on my radar has been Liverpool. I saw someone in the chat just to say who to get in from Liverpool, and this is my dilemma. And I keep looking at it, and I don't know. I haven't. Yeah, I got 1.6 in the bank. It's hard for me to get to Salah in that midfield, as you can see. So it's going to be like Rashford that will come out, Havertz out, Martial in, Dean. From getting,
he needs players with guaranteed minutes for 32. Martial is definitely not one of them.
No, exactly. Yeah. United actually missed, don't they? And they don't miss next week anyway. So yeah, that's no good to me really. Your Liverpool assets is going to be where I'm studying really. That's got to be my homework for tonight. Like figure out. Maybe pop into some Liverpool forums to see what they're doing as their predicted lineups or something, to see what my best chance is. Havertz to Darwin. I mean, that's obviously a possibility here. It's potentially where I wind up. We talked about Hakpo the other day, didn't we? Like that's
shame he's listed as a midfielder though, because those midfield spots are so precious in FPL.
That's the thing. It would be for Rashford. So is that a good pick? I don't know.
I look at this team and go, because of 32. I need to know which players I'm going to want to sell in 32. Yeah. So I could always sell them this week, right? So in 32, name your 3 players that you really at all costs will not be selling and you'll want to bench. That's where I'd start. Because then we look at the other guys that blank in 32 that you've not named out those 3 and go, that's sellable this week.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, that is a good point. Let me just...
So Haaland, Matoma and March, like we can see on the graphic here, if they've not got a game, they've got the little line.
Yeah.
So Haaland, March, Matoma, you want between now and the end of the season, right?
Yes, they need to stay. They need to stay.
Yeah, so Havertz, Rashford and Estupinan are the 3 players you could sell between now and 32 and still field at 11 without taking a hit.
That's right,
so you could sell 1, 2 or 3 of those this game week. Like Rashford, Estupinan and Havertz have to be the players you sell, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess the consideration for right now will be like, am I happy to play that 4 that's on the screen as my midfield for this week and just swap Havertz out for another forward and then make 2 transfers next week when I actually am on a blank and I have a better idea of what those fixtures are going to look like? Do I just leave Rashford for now and then deal with that next week because that player's not in the team right now? Matoma and March, I'm pretty happy with, to be honest, going into that Chelsea game. I fancy one or the other to get points. I'm not sure who I would leave out. And the Arsenal lads, to be honest, the fact that West Ham played Thursday night, away game in Europe, Arsenal haven't. I know it was a disappointing result in some sense against Liverpool because they were 2-0 up. But overall, like Arsenal were immense for the first 25 minutes, half hour. And to go and do that at Anfield is pretty rare. Like I know that Liverpool aren't having a good season, but at Anfield, they're still pretty good. So if they can play like that there, what could they play like at West Ham, who really aren't very good? I think actually there might be a backlash from that result and Arsenal smash West Ham. So that 4 in midfield, I'm kind of content with.
Yeah,
quite happy.
It's a nice differential for you this week to have 2 Arsenal mids is quite nice because everyone's sold their Arsenal players and you've got Saka Martinelli for West Ham away. It's a great fixture for them.
I think so. Yeah. Obviously, like going out of Europe has potentially helped me there. Otherwise, I might have been in a bit of a conundrum. So
shame you can't buy Jesus because I mean, Havertz to Jesus would be a great move for you.
Would be ideal, wouldn't it? Yeah. I mean, I could do that if I took out Gabriel, swapped him for a defender, and went someone else up top. But I won't do that. So it's really a forward that's going to be on my mind this week. It's just finding.
It's got to be a Liverpool forward. It's got to be Darwin, isn't it, or Jota? But then which one of them is going to be starting? We just don't know. But I would take a punt because Leeds conceded 5 to Palace. Like, how many are they going to concede to Liverpool?
Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's going to be a Liverpool player. They don't play till Monday, do they, Liverpool, either? So.
Yeah.
It's even harder to get a read on actually what the team's going to be because only Friday, we've got 3 days away from the actual game being played.
Yeah, the leaks.
They stream or Wednesday, it's like starting to guess who was going to be playing on Saturday. So,
it'll make Monday's stream more fun if you've got Darwin or Jota. I mean, we'll be streaming pre-match. Like, we might not be 7, we might be a little bit earlier, but do check us out on Monday, guys.
Yes, the deadline's obviously 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, so I'll probably dig around a little bit tonight. If it looks like Darwin's playing, he's probably my man. I can afford him, can't I? I haven't even tried.
Yeah,
this
you
yet.
can.
I can,
he's
can't I?
8.5 or something.
Is within that, is it? Yeah. Okay, so Danny says Watkins or Ings. Ings, I'm not touching for the Arsenal game. Ings late, West Ham double later on. Yeah, fair enough. I know he scored last night too, but they do have a second leg coming up as well in that against Ghent. Oh, I don't know if I like that. Watkins, look, I've overlooked him this long. I'm not jumping on him now. We talked about it the other day. Like, is he going to score in every game for the rest of the season? Might do. Like, I've made worse decisions. But yeah, I think I'll probably look to have a player playing in that Monday night game too. I think that might be fun to just have the hope that Darwin delivers in the last fixture of the weekend and gives me extra points that I reckon the rest of my mini league in particular won't have. I don't think anyone's really going to be putting enough thought in it to go there.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I like it. I've just checked. Darwin is 8.7. I've just put that in the chat. So yeah, you can afford him. It's funny. I've seen someone recommending. Obviously, no, you're a Fulham fan. Vinicius, no chance. Oh, Dean. Speaking of Fulham, every club puts their season ticket. Most clubs put their season ticket prices up all the time, don't they? Like 2 or 3%. Some have frozen season ticket prices, which I think is awesome. Fulham, 18%. You must be fuming.
Well, The thing is, our season tickets are cheap in the first place.
Are they
So
championship prices still then? Is that why?
Yeah, so my season ticket for this season was £500.
Okay.
So if it's going up, I think mine's going up to like 610, 620, something like that.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a big jump from 500. But in terms of comparison to the rest of the Premier League, I'm not sure I can complain too much. I like my little boy. He's got a season ticket too. This season, his season ticket was 90 quid. And next season, it's 150. So for 2 season tickets, it's looking at about 750 quid. I'm not sure it's that bad.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like the new stand we've just built, some of the season tickets in there are £3,000.
Yeah,
like,
that was the headline I read today. Yeah,
it's insane, and like that is just ridiculous. You're going to get no atmosphere in there. There's very few people that can afford that. The first thing I did when I saw that, I was like, what is the average wage in the UK? Like, how much do people even earn in this country to be able to spend £3,000 on going to watch Fulham 19 times? The average, it turned out, was £32,000 a year is the average wage. Now, I know like Fulham typically is going to have people around the area that aren't on an average wage because it's in one of the richest parts of the country. That doesn't really matter, right? That doesn't really matter. Like, I think they've outpriced that.
£3,000.
Yeah.
But actually, that's 32 grand before tax. So your take home on that's 24 or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'll ever be going in that stand at this rate. Josh says Andreas not interesting. No, I mean, we're not playing very well, Josh. Fulham just really are not playing very well. I mean, a couple of blokes that I see at the games, they were texting the other day, and they're like, honestly, don't even know where our next points are coming from. A lot of people think we're not going to win another game this season. I'm not that pessimistic because in our last three, we got Southampton and Palace, and then we got Man United away, and they might have a cup final or something to look forward to. So I think we'll still get a few points along the way, but we're not the team that we were in the first half of the season.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, let's show my team.
Yep.
Nice little sneeze during that clip.
The only beach team in the league.
Yeah, I think they might be Fulham. I think they're the only team I would categorise as on the beach already.
You might be right.
We'll start to see a few more coming in the next couple of weeks. Like maybe Palace get there and
Chelsea
take the foot off. I mean, I don't even know what Chelsea are.
Chelsea have never come off the beach, have they? They've still been there since last summer.
Chelsea aren't on Earth to be on the beach. They're in Mars somewhere. I've got money in the bank, which is enough to upgrade a defender to a Man City defender. And that's what I'm looking to do this week. So I'll probably make my transfer tonight, lock it in.
Yep.
Henry out, Ake in.
Okay.
So he comes in for Rashford because Rashford's not going to start.
Yep.
But then I look at it and go, I'll be playing 4-4-2. So I could bench Botman and start Havertz, which seems bonkers because I've promised myself Havertz will not feature in this team any longer. But I do think Havertz is going to start against Brighton.
Do you?
Because he was out against Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And if Havertz starts against Brighton, if Villa weren't good in attack, I'd just go, look, Newcastle defence, really good. Go double Newcastle defence, play them. But I do have a sneaky suspicion Aston Villa score in that fixture. And if they do, then Botman's ceiling is so low, it's 2 points. Now look, Kai Havertz, Botman gets a clean sheet. His ceiling's what? Let's say 7 points. Like the chance of more than one bonus and a goal or an assist is so low, we can say 7 points. Havertz's ceiling is a lot higher than 7 points. It's very unlikely that ever happens, but knowing he's on penalties as well, I just think there's a good chance both players get 2 points. But Havertz has got the higher ceiling, therefore back your attacker. I can't believe I'm here doing this, but I think
Assad has got
Havertz
you, mate.
might make it into my 11.
Gianni, you have a toxic relationship with Havertz, lol. It is, isn't it, mate? It has become
Break free.
I don't know how you feel about him anymore. You've stuck by him so admirably, and you know you need some love back. You got to get some love back in any relationship.
Do you know what? I get a ton of XG back. I get all the XG, all the XGI in the world.
Yeah, it's like someone fluttering their eyelids, though, isn't it? It's like you don't get a kiss, you just get a little flutter of the eyelids.
If I wasn't so obsessed with buying a Man City defender this week, then Havertz would be my transfer out. But I don't quite know who I'd be backing. I still am undecided on who I want Havertz to become, which is why I haven't replaced him. Another reason why he's still on my team.
Yeah.
Like, I think I want that slot to be a Liverpool forward. I think I want it to be Darwin or Jota, but I just don't know which one because I don't know who's guaranteed to start. And I need to see Darwin starting games. And again, it could become Jesus. Like, I could go Jesus with that slot, but
yeah, it is tough. It is tough.
I really want a City defender. I really want to go triple City. I think it's a nailed clean sheet against Leicester. And for the run-in, when you look at City's fixtures, so many clean sheets.
Is there?
So I think
I guess actually, yeah. Now I think
like
about
the 9 fixtures, I'm backing them for a clean sheet in 7. Like that
is
good.
A good point. Ake, by the way, is playing so well. He's playing so well. Amazing what he's achieved in the last year or so. I'm trying to look at right now actually to see if I can find like a predicted lineup from someone reliable, but I can't get my phone to act very well at the moment for some reason.
CH says, "Is it time for an intervention?"
People are worried about you here, mate. People are worried about you.
Havertz versus a decent Brighton team, says Khalid. No, Brighton are wicked, right? No one loves Brighton more than me in terms of non-Brighton fans, but they will let you have chances. Like it's not an elite defense in terms of the numbers against them. In terms of goals scored and attack, their numbers suggest they're the best attack in the league. They're not. They're underlying numbers. City are, but in a league with City and Arsenal, Brighton are top 3 attack. Defense, they're around mid-table in terms of the chances they concede.
Yeah, that seems about right to me. So I'm just looking at what this is Anfield go with as their Liverpool likely lineup. So a good place for Liverpool news as a fans channel, whatever fan site. Their front 3 is Salah, Gakpo, Darwin Núñez.
Is it? That's what you and I would have guessed, right?
Yeah. So that's what they're going for as their prediction.
Can I afford Darwin? Let me have a look.
How they have it, yeah. They've then got another lineup in case Liverpool change their formation and go 4-2-3-1. And in that instance, they have those 3 behind and then Firmino up top.
Oh,
which I don't think will happen, but that's their alternate lineup. So Darwin's still in it. So they in neither of the line. And I know this isn't particularly reliable, but these guys watch them inside out and listen to everything that's said. Both teams have got Darwin in, so might be enough for me. If I'll obviously dig around a little bit more, might text my mate who actually goes to the presses too. That would be handy. But yeah, on instinct, Darwin, who I've obviously battered a lot of this season and have never had in my team, he might get his first run out for Walton Rifles, and let's hope it's a goal scoring one.
So I'm 0.1 short, mate. Havertz to Darwin, I'm 0.1.
Really?
Michael's just said in the chat as well. He worked it out for me. Yeah. Annoying, but City defense, easy 6-pointers. Happy with that.
Yep.
So outside of that, Dean, what about captaincy this week? Is it even a conversation? Like,
it's not, is it?
Have you considered anyone? No, because some have said, Kane's got Bournemouth, but Bournemouth aren't the league's whipping boys anymore. Like, sure, Kane will probably get a return, but he's not going to go and get 3.
It's also not worth the risk, is it?
Yeah.
Like, Haaland's playing, he's starting, and it's against Leicester, who, have got to turn around at some point, surely, because I don't think they'll go down, but they're not that good. So, I don't see any reason why if you've got Haaland, why you wouldn't be captain him. I haven't even thought about it, to be honest. Like, he's definitely captain. I don't think there's
I'm with you there. All right, well, let's move on to our Against the Obvious feature. But before we do, in fact, when we play the Against the Obvious sting, it gives you guys enough time to subscribe to the channel if you don't already, and of course, hit the like button. Let's play the sting.
Oh, it's me. It's me. Okay, this isn't an easy one, but let's start the clock. My Against the Obvious this week is Purvis Estupinan. Right. Okay, so this is a bit of a risky call because they are playing a Chelsea team that are pretty poor. There's a chance that he might be involved. But my thinking is here that they're actually better Brighton assets for us to consider going forward. And if we want 3 Brighton players for the doubles that are coming up, I think we can probably afford to get rid of Estupinan and actually start bringing in other players that allow us to open up another spot for a Brighton player. Now, they blank next week, obviously. Get another Brighton asset in for the Forest game and the double against Wolves and United. Now, Estupinan does get decent points, but most of those decent points returns are around clean sheets, which all the other defensive players at Brighton are getting anyway. He's not got a single double-digit haul all season. He's never got above 9 points in one game. From 25 matches so far in the Premier League this season, he's only got 4 assists. He's fine. He's a safe pair of feet, but I think we can do better, people. My aim is how can I upgrade him by the time we get to that double?
I like that. For someone that's not on a free hit like you as well, Dean, that can sell your players that we're all keeping because of the free hit 32.
Yeah.
I don't mind that strategy of selling a Estupinan and then bringing back a cheaper like Steele is what 3.9.
Well, this is it. Yeah, because I don't really want.
I prefer Steele and save the million. Like,
yeah, I don't want Kepa. He's my other keeper. I've got Raya as my other, but Kepa's been playing most of the games for me. So I quite like Steele for those doubles. And Estupinan, yeah, as I say, like, yeah, he picks up 6 and 8 here and there. And he's fine. He's 4.8 million. Like, if you stick with him, it'll be fine. But if you just want to try and better yourself, I think you can by opening up that money a little bit and looking to get maybe either a Brighton goalkeeper, or if you want, try and get in a McAllister or something. If you want to get 3 Brightons in for those games.
Yeah, I hear you. It's not a strategy for me because I have the free hit, and I know.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think for you, I think it's a valid point, mate.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're watching on catch up, shout out to you guys as well. Just conscious, so give the chat all our love, but we love our catch up viewers as well. You're still part of the Chaser family, I'm sure. All right, let's move on to my against the obvious pick. Who did I go for this week? I went for Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa. Let's start that clock. And look, he's highly owned, 9.6%. But in terms of inactive teams, loads of you watching will own Kepa, just like I do, just like Dean does. And the reason I would not be picking Kepa this week, I don't even know if he's going to start. Frank Lampard didn't like Kepa in his last spell. Frank Lampard liked Mendy. Frank Lampard couldn't come in and rock the boat straight away and drop Kepa. But what he probably said to himself was, one bad game, or maybe even just one bad incident in a game, and you're out. And I think we've seen that bad incident / bad game against Real Madrid. And I think Mendy could come in this weekend. And if he doesn't come in this weekend, it's only going to be a matter of time. We need Kepa starting around the double game week, which is likely to come in like a month's time. Very unlikely Kepa's Chelsea's number 1 in a month. So whilst he might not be a sell straight away, unless you've got a good backup keeper, I'd be selling him. I've got Raya. I'm happy with Raya, but Kepa will be going for me in the not too distant. I'm pretty sure of that, unless he's part of Frank's plans, but I don't think he is.
What did you make of the Asensio goal? Did you think Kepa shouldn't have been beaten from there? What was your view?
I saw FPL Twitter and Chelsea Twitter all sort of thought Kepa should save that. Personally, I thought that's gone through so much traffic, that's really difficult to save. I wouldn't give him a hard time for that incident, but I know general football fans thought, that was a howler. But I thought the amount of traffic it goes through, must be so difficult.
It's just I think it's just a big hit, isn't it? It's a big hit. It's a bit hopeful one. He's only just come on the guys. He's scored a few goals like that, to be honest. Gets footy, says breaking. Lisandro Martinez set to miss the rest of the season. Well, I saw some reports earlier that he might only miss 6 weeks. It's a metatarsal, isn't it? And I saw people trying to make comparisons to what that injury would normally be. And to be honest, with an injury of that nature, getting back by the end of the season would seem very hopeful to me anyway. So that doesn't surprise me at all if that is breaking right now. That's a massive blow to Man United.
That really is.
But perhaps even more reason to consider that Luke Shaw might be coming into that centre of that defence.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's our against the obvious. I think it's probably time for a little bit of questions. I'm just going to check that breaking news because I've not seen anything on my Twitter timeline yet, but apparently it's an Ornstein tweet. So if it is, then I'm sure it's accurate. Oh yeah, 2 minutes ago, David Ornstein has said, set to miss rest of the season with foot injury suffered. Varane foot injury still being assessed. Concerns he may also miss remainder of campaign. Imagine if they both do, Dean. Like, top 4 isn't guaranteed by any stretch if they're missing. Maguire, Lindelof.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a big. There's problems all over that team now. Still wondering on Rashford. Still, you've only got Ericsson just coming back to fitness. Luckily, got Casemiro back now. No real goal threat as a centre forward. They haven't got that at the moment. If Rashford's not there, he's the guy they've been relying on. So very, very uncertain time that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be banking on Man United clean sheets for those that perhaps were looking at the run of fixtures around 34 onwards going, I'm going to bring in De Gea or I'm going to bring in Luke Shaw or whatever. Whilst those FPL assets are good in their own right, you need clean sheets. And I think now with this injury news, United clean sheets have just taken a bit of a nose bomb. So
Yeah.
I personally would be probably swerving that defence between now and the end of the season, I think.
Yeah, sounds good.
Question from Schnaps. What do you reckon there, Dean?
Well, I don't think I want De Gea on the back of what we just heard, do you? I mean, that's the problem. I mean, what you'll know better than me, what De Gea's return would be if he did concede goals in games.
It is good. He
is it
does
good?
get the saves. He does rack up the save points. And with that, he can pick up bonus quite easily.
Okay, so it doesn't matter too much.
He is the only defender I'd be looking at is De Gea. And I also think he's had a phenomenal season. I think it quietly been United's sort of, I don't know, top 2, top 3 player.
Yeah, he's been one of the top 3. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fair. Rashford, Casemiro, him. Close. It's Harry Maguire essential. I'm not going to make fun of Harry Maguire. I'm not going to make fun
Dean's
of Harry
a fan.
I just feel sorry for him. I don't think he's that bad, and I think he has a lot of bad luck. Like yesterday's goal. I mean, it's just he's got a head, and someone headed it at it.
Yeah, but if he was tighter to his man, he wouldn't have been a distance.
It's a tough one. I mean, it's a tough one. He's judged so harshly now that he can't really win. He
can't do right for doing wrong.
He really needs to go to Serie A. If ever anyone needs to go and restore their credibility abroad, it's Harry Maguire rocking up in an AC Milan shirt or something next season.
He's not getting anywhere near that AC Milan team. Don't disrespect Serie A with sending your rejects our way. Brennan Johnson punt is a really interesting one because Nottingham Forest's home form is so good, and they're facing a United team that could be tired. United team without some key men. Brennan's also got some good home fixtures against Southampton coming up. He's got Brighton. I don't know. He's a 2% differential, and he's only 5.7 million. There's very few defenders, forwards below 6 million that are worth even looking at. Brennan is one of them. So if money's tight, I get it. He's on pens too.
Yeah, true. Right, we got next. If bringing in Salah for game week 34, who do you take out? I guess it depends who you got, but what would it be?
I mean, if we assume everyone's got 2 Brighton mids, you're not selling them.
No,
because they double in 34. If we assume everyone's got Rashford,
yeah.
You're reluctant to sell him knowing he should be back by then. So it's whoever's your other spot. Some might have Maddison in there. Some might have a Grealish. I wouldn't want to sell Grealish ahead of his double either. I guess if you've got Bruno or Rashford, or Bruno and Rashford like I have, because I'm thinking, how am I going to get Salah in? It will almost certainly be the Bruno or Rashford slot for me. In a way, it will be a lot easier for me if Rashford's just injured,
100%.
If he's back fit, though, there's a good chance we're worried about his minutes in terms of starting both those games. Because when he's back, he can't play 3 times a week, twice a week, every game. Certainly not 90s. So maybe I'd punt away from him. Or if Bruno continues to play deep, and again last night, Sabitzer was further forward than Bruno.
He was, yeah.
And I'm 9.6 million or whatever I've spent on Bruno. I think I'd sell Bruno for Salah quite comfortably.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm sure a lot of people are looking at that. Any Palace differential picks? Well, look, I mentioned it the other day. Roy Hodgson was speaking a lot about Jordan Ayew, and he was surprised he hadn't got goals this season based on what he saw in that Leeds game. So possibly go Jordan Ayew. I think he'll play. I think Hodgson likes him. The style of football might suit him better now. You can go for an Eze or Elise, obviously. I mean, not that many people still going to have them, even though they look in form. But remember that the strength of any Roy Hodgson team is still going to be the structure of it, and that they want to be built on clean sheets, which hasn't necessarily been the way it's come about in the last 2 games. But you've always got to bear in mind the opposition, what they're up against. in terms of positioning right now and what style of game it will be. But I still think you have to consider that if you want a Palace asset specifically, then there will be defenders in there that might be worth a try.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. Like, we've been blown away by how good Palace have been in the last two, but they're not going to be scoring 3-4 goals a game. And they probably will pick up some clean sheets in 1-0 wins. So
Yeah,
Chilwell
absolutely.
to Trent from -4. No, not from -4. I don't mind it as a normal transfer, but Chilwell should start this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because of the suspension that he's got now, I think that makes sense, right? Rizzo says clean sheet potential for Everton and Brentford in this game week. Everton obviously at home to my Fulham.
Oh,
Who've
banker.
Brentford got? Brentford are away to Wolves. I mean, the Everton one is pretty safe, to be fair. Yeah, Fulham really don't do well at Everton anyway. I've been there a couple of times. It's quite depressing, actually, normally. So I think Everton, pretty high. Brentford going to Wolves. I find that a tough call.
Oh, that could be a 1-0 tight one either way, couldn't it?
Really could be. I find that game so difficult to judge, Rizzo.
Me too. And
I
I'm
don't know,
starting
mate, to be
Raya.
honest.
Are you starting Raya, Dean?
Yeah.
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 I'm hoping Brentford keep it clean, but
I am hoping, but I can't.
I wouldn't
I don't
guarantee
get
that by
him.
any stretch. Not like I would an Everton clean.
Pedro Porro, we've talked about him a lot, and I think he's a
we
really
like
good
him.
asset. And this might actually be a good week for him, to be fair. Bournemouth at home.
Mate, two players we've said we like are, and neither of us have owned, and not really anyone owns, were two January signings, both fullbacks, so Pedro Porro and Alex Moreno. Like,
Oh,
both
yeah,
of them,
yeah.
and they've both done pretty well, haven't they?
They have
Like,
actually,
Moreno
yeah.
in particular, racking up the clean sheets. And I think next season, both Porro and Moreno will be sort of 5 million assets. And I think there's a good chance they'll both feature in our teams early on.
Assad said he's got Porro too. He's excited. You should be excited. I think that, if you're going to have another Tottenham asset outside of Kane, I don't think that's a bad one to have at all. Right. JP, start 2 out of Watkins, Isak, and McAllister. Let me just remind myself what we're looking at. Newcastle get Aston Villa away.
Watkins and Isak play each other, don't they?
They literally play each other, and then Brighton have got Chelsea away. So
they're two good defenses. That could be a low scoring game.
Look, Watkins is at home to Newcastle, so like that, I always would edge that, like a striker at home.
Same.
I'd go with Watkins over Isak, and then probably McAllister as the second.
I always veer towards the home player, but Watkins has actually got a better away record of late than home, but still scoring every game. But I'm with you. I think I'd go Watkins as just.
Yeah, I mean, Villa have got a good flow about them right now, and they're feeling good. So they'll get a goal at least there.
So we've got our last question: Rashford, Chilwell, Nacho, Ian Nacho, I guess, out for Hakpo, Sims, and Trent. Don't bank on Sims starting every week. Like, Sean Dyche will play the kid, and then he'll drop the kid. Like.
Yeah.
Be careful there. But I like Hakpo and Trent. -8, but you've got no free hit in 32. So in that case, whilst it's a -8, if it's getting you additional men out for 32, I don't mind those moves, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you are still hungry for more content, then a little plug here. I've also got another channel, my own channel, where I've done a 15-minute game week preview. So if you're hungry for FPL content, check out the Gianni Battici YouTube channel. My latest upload, which was, I think, yesterday, 15-minute game week preview. I talked loads about Man City defense and some numbers on that one. But also, if you're just joining, then go back and watch this episode from the start. We'll be back on Monday, probably 6 p.m., maybe 7 p.m., because there's Monday night football. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. But for now, he's been Dean, I've been Gianni, and we've been chasing green arrows.